Have you ever, ordered a coffee and gotten totally stumped by the barista's question?
Uh-huh.
Like something like, would you like room for cream? And you're like, well, yeah, of course I want room for cream. Like, what kind of coffee monster doesn't? But then it hits you.
Right.
They're actually asking if you want cream.
Yeah.
These little communication hiccups, they happen all the time, right? And today's deep dive is all about getting crystal clear communication, specifically how to master the art of asking for clarification.
You know what's really fascinating about that coffee shop scenario?
Yeah.
It highlights how crucial asking for clarification is.
Yeah.
We've all had those moments of confusion.
Yeah.
And how we handle those can really make all the difference in our interactions.
Yeah.
Whether it's just grabbing a quick coffee or navigating a complex business deal.
For sure. Our source material for this deep dive is actually a podcast episode that was initially designed for English language learners.
Interesting.
But honestly, the insights are so valuable that they apply to anyone who wants to level up their communication game.
It's all about those skills that we just take for granted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the first things that the source material dives into is this idea that there's a whole spectrum of phrases you can use to ask for clarification.
Right.
Each with its own level of formality.
It's like different tools in your communication toolbox.
Right.
You're not going to use a hammer to tighten a screw.
Exactly.
Similarly, you want to choose the right phrase for the situation.
I like that a lot. So on the casual end of the spectrum, you've got those phrases like the classic sorry or pardon.
Those are great for informal settings. Imagine just chatting with your friends or family.
Right.
They're quick and easy and get the point across.
Yeah.
Without any fuss.
Okay, so then when you step into a more professional environment, those casual phrases might not cut it.
Exactly. For everyday interactions, like if you're talking to a shop assistant
right,
or even a colleague, you'd probably opt for something a little more polished. Something like, could you say that again, please? Or, I didn't quite catch that.
Gotcha.
They convey respect while still being straightforward.
Yeah. And then you've got the top tier, the super formal phrases like, would you mind elaborating on that? Or could you clarify what you mean by?
Those are your power phrases for those high-stakes situations.
Okay.
Imagine you're presenting to your CEO or negotiating a major contract.
Oh, yeah.
You want to show that you're not just paying attention, but that you also value their time and expertise.
For sure.
By using that more formal language, you're projecting that respect and showing that you're serious about understanding every little detail.
So it's not just about being grammatically correct. It's about choosing the phrase that matches the level of formality required for that situation.
And the source actually does a fantastic job of illustrating this by using real-life dialogue.
Nice.
Like scenarios like ordering food at a restaurant or attending a business meeting.
Those sound like some relatable situations.
Absolutely. And seeing how these phrases are used in context makes it so much easier to understand how they fit into a natural conversation.
Okay, so let's pretend I'm at that restaurant you mentioned.
Okay.
I'm trying to order a steak, but the server throws me a curveball. They say, would you like your steak medium rare or well done? And I totally blank on the difference.
It happens.
How do I ask for clarification without sounding clueless?
This is where those mid-level phrases really shine.
Okay.
You could say something like, sorry, could you explain the difference?
Okay.
It acknowledges that you need more information while still being polite and appropriate.
Okay, I like it. What if I'm in that high-stakes business meeting and my boss starts talking about focusing on KPIs? For the next quarter, I have a vague idea what KPIs are, but I definitely need more context.
Right.
Dropping a sorry doesn't quite seem right.
And not in that situation. This is when you bring in the big guns.
Okay.
Those formal phrases that we discussed.
Yeah.
You could say something like, would you mind elaborating on which KPIs you'd like us to focus on?
Nice.
It shows that you're engaged. You're eager to learn.
Yeah.
And you understand the importance of what's being discussed.
So in a way, choosing the right clarification phrase is like reading the room.
Yes.
And adapting your communication style accordingly.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about recognizing the cues and the dynamics at play.
For sure.
And responding in a way that's both effective and respectful.
I feel like there's more to this whole communication puzzle, though.
Oh, absolutely.
It can't just be about memorizing a bunch of phrases.
Right. Because sometimes, even if you use the perfect phrase, it can still fall flat.
Yeah.
And that's because communication is about so much more than just the words.
It's the tone, the body language.
Yes, whole shebang.
The whole 9 yards.
And that's where cultural nuances come into play.
Okay.
The way we ask for clarification can be heavily influenced by our cultural background.
That's a really good point. I remember traveling abroad, and I felt like I was constantly putting my foot in my mouth.
It happens.
Because I didn't understand the unspoken rules of communication.
It's a common experience.
Yeah.
For example, in some cultures, asking a lot of questions is seen as a sign of active engagement and a genuine desire to learn. But in other cultures, that can be interpreted as challenging authority.
Wow.
Or showing a lack of respect.
So even with the best intentions, you could accidentally send the wrong message.
Absolutely.
If you're not aware of these cultural differences.
That's why the source really encourages listeners to think about how their own cultural background might be influencing their approach to seeking clarification.
So it's like adding a layer of cultural awareness on top of everything else.
Exactly. It's about being sensitive to those unspoken rules and adapting our communication style accordingly.
It's fascinating how it's this interplay of language and context and cultural awareness that makes mastering clarification so much more than just memorizing a few phrases.
It really is.
This is already blowing my mind, and I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface. What else does this source material have in store for us?
Oh, there's plenty more to unpack.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating topic. And the source material gets even more intriguing when it moves beyond just theory.
Okay.
And into practical application.
That's what I love about these deep dives. You know, taking those nuggets of knowledge and figuring out how to actually use them.
Exactly.
In real life.
And this source provides some fantastic tools for doing just that.
Yeah.
One of the things it introduces is a series of practice scenarios. Designed to simulate real-life situations. Where you'd need to ask for clarification.
I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Okay, well, imagine you're trying to navigate a new city. Using only verbal directions. No GPS. No map.
Oh, man.
Just someone telling you where to go.
I would be lost in 5 minutes.
Probably me too. But that's the beauty of this scenario. It forces you to listen so carefully. And to ask for clarification whenever you hit a snag.
So it's like communication boot camp.
Exactly. You're thrown into the deep end. And you have to swim.
I like that. What other scenarios does the source provide?
Another one that really stood out to me involves trying to assemble a complicated piece of furniture.
Oh, no.
From those notoriously vague instruction manuals.
I can already feel the frustration just thinking about it.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
Staring at those tiny diagrams.
You're like, which way is up?
Exactly.
And being able to ask for clarification is crucial.
Oh, absolutely. Because one wrong move. And you could end up with a wobbly bookshelf or a chair with 3 legs.
So these scenarios are really about more than just understanding language. It's about applying those clarification skills in those high-pressure situations.
Precisely. It's like taking everything we've learned so far and putting it to the test.
Does the source material just like throw you into these scenarios and leave you to fend for yourself?
Not at all. It actually provides really helpful feedback along the way. Highlighting best practices.
Nice.
And pointing out potential pitfalls.
So it's like having a virtual communication coach.
Exactly. And to further solidify your understanding, it includes an interactive quiz.
A quiz. Now you're talking my language. I love a good challenge.
This one involves listening to short audio clips of different scenarios. And choosing the most appropriate way to ask for clarification. Based on the context.
So you're really thinking on your feet.
Exactly. And the best part is that the source provides detailed explanations for each answer choice. So you can understand the reasoning behind the correct response.
So it's like getting a personalized breakdown of why certain phrases work better in certain situations.
Exactly.
This is brilliant. Now, something that's been swirling around in my mind. Throughout this whole deep dive is this idea that asking for clarification isn't a sign of weakness.
On the contrary, it's a sign of strength. It shows that you're engaged, you're paying attention, and you're committed to understanding.
And in a world where miscommunication runs rampant, it's a skill that can really set you apart.
Absolutely.
Embrace the art of asking for clarification and watch your communication skills soar.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into mastering the art of asking for clarification.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. From those foundational phrases to navigating cultural nuances and even those nonverbal cues.
Absolutely.
Now, as we reach the summit of our deep dive, it's time to distill everything we've explored into some key takeaways that you can carry with you into your everyday interactions.
Perfect.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about taking these insights and turning them into action. Exactly. So takeaway number 1, and this one can't be stressed enough.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask for clarification.
It's so much better to ask than to let a misunderstanding fester.
Right.
Which can lead to mistakes or confusion.
Absolutely. Or even damage relationships.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Asking for clarification is like having a safety net.
I like that.
It allows you to double-check your understanding and make sure that everyone's on the same page.
And remember, there's a whole spectrum of ways to ask.
Right.
From a simple, could you repeat that?
Yeah.
To a more elaborate, would you mind walking me through that again?
Exactly. The key is to choose the phrasing that feels most appropriate for the situation.
Right.
And the person that you're interacting with.
Our second takeaway builds on that idea of tailoring your communication style.
Okay.
It's about being mindful of your nonverbal cues.
Because even with the most carefully chosen words,
yes,
your body language and tone of voice can send a completely different message.
Absolutely. Like imagine asking someone, could you explain that again? But with a sigh and an eye roll?
Right. Not exactly conveying genuine interest.
Not at all. So maintaining eye contact.
Yeah.
Using a respectful tone of voice. Being mindful of our overall demeanor.
For sure.
All crucial elements of seeking clarification effectively.
It's about conveying genuine curiosity and a sincere desire to understand.
Takeaway number 3 is all about practice, practice, practice.
Yeah. The more you use these techniques in real-life situations, the more natural they will become.
I like to think of it like learning a new dance move, you know?
Okay.
At first it feels awkward and clunky, but with repetition it becomes smooth and graceful.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to experiment with different phrases.
Yeah.
See what works best for you.
Pay attention to how other people ask for clarification. Notice what resonates with you.
And remember, even seasoned communicators are constantly honing their skills.
Yeah. Our fourth takeaway brings us back to that element of cultural awareness.
What's considered polite and appropriate in one culture might be perceived differently in another.
Yeah. So it's important to be mindful of both your own cultural background and the backgrounds of those you're interacting with.
If you're ever unsure about the best way to ask for clarification in a specific cultural context, don't hesitate to do some research.
Right.
Or seek guidance from someone who's familiar with that culture.
It's all about approaching communication with sensitivity and respect.
Absolutely.
And finally, our fifth takeaway is perhaps the most empowering of all.
Okay.
View asking for clarification as a strength, not a weakness.
It's a sign of intellectual curiosity, a commitment to clear communication, and a willingness to grow and learn.
Think of all those brilliant minds throughout history who dared to ask why.
Right.
They weren't afraid to seek clarification, and their questions led to groundbreaking discoveries and innovations.
Absolutely.
So as you move forward from this deep dive, remember that the power to unlock clarity lies within you.
Embrace the art of asking for clarification.
And watch your communication skills soar.
To new heights.
This deep dive has truly been an eye-opening experience. It's amazing how something as seemingly simple as asking for clarification can have such a profound impact.
It really can.
On our interactions.
It's a skill that transcends language barriers.
For sure.
Cultural differences, and even professional hierarchies.
By mastering the art of asking for clarification, we can foster deeper understanding.
Absolutely.
Build stronger connections, and navigate the complexities of human communication.
It's true.
With confidence and grace.
Until next time.
Keep those questions coming.
Keep diving deep.
And keep striving for clarity in all your interactions.
I love it, Sam.